how can we celebrate Open 4 coming back? Well, let's do a new release of the Scene Director mod. It sure is a long time since now. And contrary to popular rumors, I am not dead. So this is release 3.4, and now the whole focus is on stage light. So basically lighting your scene so you can go from something like what you see now to something like this. And this is basically done by special made props, which are set up by the mod, and we can control the lights afterwards. So there's basically two different types of lights: static lights, which is the one you see in the background, and lights which follow the actors. In the future we might have other types of lights, because basically we have full control of what we want to do with them. So come with your ideas if you want to have flickering lights, or something which rotates the actor, or just shaky lights or something like that. We can probably implement that right now. This release requires a bit more work to actually install than the earlier ones. That's because it's now distributed as a DLC as well, because we have 50 new props, which are basically spotlights without any mass or any, or not at least a lot of visible things to it. And these need to be available for the mods for this to work. So, what I'm showing you here is just loading a scene where we basically set up 3 different lights, and you can actually see the light source as well if you have the right angle. These are basically the props, so we have 15 types of props, and 1 prop for each color, but they're all the same shape. But they can also, the shape can also be replaced, but it requires a bit more work. But if you are able to replace props using Open4, then you should be able to sort of adjust this as well. So there's one light over here, and the red one, I think it's close to the floor, and there's actually one in the ceiling, which took a bit while to load as well. And they will all fall a shadow, so you can sort of see how that works. So if I clear it back now, you can see how it used to be before, and if we load it, it comes back. But it's one of them which is a bit slow. It's probably, it doesn't think it's visible, so therefore it doesn't show. These lights only work at night, and they don't work during a blackout. Unfortunately, there's no way of doing that, even though that would be a cool effect. So to add new lights, you basically need to go into the edit scene functionality, and the edit scene functionality is where we edit typically recording items, but it's also where you will add lights. Basically you control the camera position by using the WSAD keys and your mouse. When you add a light, you want to sort of find the right placement, or at least the right rotation of the camera, because you won't be able to change that afterwards. You then select add light, and it will now give you a few options. The first one is to follow actor, or if it should follow the actor or be a static one. So if I press G, it says it's following actor number 1, and then it will follow at the same distance which the camera currently is. The second one, the C key, is for changing the type of light. So this is basically one form factor, so a spotlight form factor, but in 15 different colors being made. And as I said, we can add new ones in different shapes as well, but it does require some work in 3D Studio Max. So let's just add a white light here, and then you can move the spotlight further away or closer if you want to do that. But you cannot rotate the camera, that won't change it, but you can move it sideways, and I think you probably can move it up and down as well. Yeah. So if we save it now, there's no way of sort of changing this light afterwards, so there's no edit functionality. Then you basically, well, the simplest approach might be to actually save all the lights, go into the saved XML file, and load the lights again. So let's add that one light, and then we'll move the camera slightly and add a new light in a different color, like this, and we have both of them following the actor. So as we now exit the mode, we can now start working. And you see it has a nice shade, which will also come from other objects like bushes and things like that, which can definitely make your machinima much more atmospheric and realistic. These lights will then also follow if you have a vehicle. So basically every 20 ticks we are updating the location of the spotlights to follow your actor. So let's just add a motorcycle here and just show you the effect you get now. So you should be able to have some nice effect here. I haven't tested out what the limit it is, how many you basically can have, but I think there's quite a few which can be done. But it all depends on your machine and how much processor. But you will see that it's actually working a lot with these lights, both the static ones and slightly more for the ones which are dynamic, but it shouldn't be that more. Other than that, I guess there's not too much to tell you. Like the installation procedure basically is the way you add a normal installation, basically add a DLC installation to Open4. You basically need to create the mod folder and copy a DLC RPF file into a certain structure there. And then afterwards you need to edit the DLC list XML file to load this file. And what happens then is that these 15 props are then available to the mod. And if that's not in place, it will just basically fail, but an error message that it's failing to load the objects. And you will need to troubleshoot that from Open4. So it's not the most straightforward process, but if you've done it once or twice, you should be more familiar with it, and I'm sure the community can help each other if they're having issues. And of course, whenever you typically upgrade to a new version of GTA, and if this file, the updated RPF file, is changed, you might need to redo this. So make sure you understand how you do it and can do it once more. Alright, so thanks for now. Hope you enjoy the feature, and make sure you make some cool machinimas with this. Alright, bye bye.